From microwaves to air fryers, technology is advancing right before our eyes. Let's take Iris Apfel, businesswoman, actress, and fashion icon, who was born in 1921. She is today 102 years old. It is safe to say that she has seen technology unfold through the years. Things like coal and wood burning stoves, to the advent of electric and gas stoves, to modern conveniences like microwaves and even current technologies like the air fryer. She's seen technology unfold right before her eyes. But guess what? She's not the only one. Even though the International Energy Agency has said that as of 2022, there are 775 million people who choose to live off-grid, which means they live without any electricity or modern conveniences. That has not stopped technology from advancing. Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about thriving in tomorrow, an urgent call for entrepreneurs. My name is Cornell Jermaine and I welcome you back to the show. I thank you so much for joining once again, and I think this conversation is going to be useful to anyone who is in business or just wants to understand what is happening in the face of technology. This will give you a glimpse into the various industrial revolutions and what they might mean for you as an entrepreneur and business owner, or just a lay man or woman. Identify what we're talking about first. Now, I've had many conversations. I'm no expert when it comes to industrial revolutions or no expert when it comes to technology, but I am blessed to have several people in my circle of friendships who are very capable and very knowledgeable in the space of technology. People from mechanical engineers to software engineers to technological engineers that deal with AI and machine learning and generative AI. And I often have conversations with them and their network of people. And ideally, my conversation always leads to that of, well, what does this mean for the consumer? What does this mean for the business owner? What does it mean for the small business? What does it mean for a business in general? And they always give me insight and thoughts as it pertains to what that really means and how it might be useful and even could hurt if we don't pivot appropriately. We're going to be talking about this industrial revolutions, but let's identify what that really means. What is industry? Industry is the production of goods and services through the transformation of raw materials and resources into valuable products. Let's talk about what this first industrial revolution looked like. The first industrial revolution brought about the advent of steam and water, which was utilized to power engines for coal mining and to power even household appliances and utilities like furnaces. This is where we saw the natural resource of water, which was now used to power engines and machinery. But then we see a second revolution come, a second revolution which brought electricity, gas, the empowerment of goods, and mass production. And to be honest, probably many of our families built the wealth that they have on the back of this mass production. This is where we see things like mass production in cars and all kinds of goods. That was the second industrial revolution. Then came about around the 1969 and 1970, another revolution. And this is the one, in my opinion, that changed the game moving forward. This is where we see computer technology, digital information, electronics coming into play. This is where we see the Microsofts of the world beginning to step forward, the Apples of the world beginning to develop, and all of those things. Computers now, although they weren't a part of the mass or the general population, they were definitely used in industry to make or create valuable products and goods. However, it did not stop there. It just kept going, and in the 2000s, now the 2000s gave us more than just country grammar, down, down, baby. Down, down, baby, no street in a Range Rover. It gave us more than just the Slim Shadys. I'm Slim Shady, it's all the real Shadys. I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. It gave us more than that. The 2000s gave us advancement in computer technology. And this is where we see not only computers, but we see smart computers. I remember when I first got my first smartphone, and it was a BlackBerry. Prior to that, I had flip phones and just the regular small little phones. You just press the button. And I remember when I got that phone, how first I was like, I don't need this, what I need this for. And then I started to use it and really see how useful it was and how it advanced and helped me in so many areas as it pertains to business. It was like after I had that smartphone called the BlackBerry, I could not go back to just a regular flip phone or one of those other little phones that was just a little brick that you just push the little buttons, because I had been exposed to now this technology that just made things so much smoother and streamlined the process for so many things that I had to do as a business owner. And let me tell you, I am not the one who is quick to embrace technology. That's just not me. I'm the kind of person that if it's not broke, don't fix it. But what I've learned in this journey of business and entrepreneurship is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. It works okay for your light fixture at the house. It's okay for that antique coffee table that grandma left you. But when it comes to doing business, industry does not operate in an if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. Industry operates in a if it ain't broke, break it and build something better. Why? Because industry wants to advance. There's a built-in mechanism, a built-in drive and ambition to make things more efficient. And that's why over the last 500 years, we've seen things just advance. And now we look up and we're like, wow, we've come so far. And guess what? We ain't even tipped the iceberg. When we talk about the advent of the fourth revolution, we're talking about smart devices like my BlackBerry that I could schedule things. I could go check the email. I could use it almost like a computer to do little things. And guess what? At that time, the BlackBerry I thought was amazing, just like you probably did. It was the phone of executives. You weren't doing business of any substance if you didn't have a BlackBerry. Apple is also a status symbol for certain communities, for certain industries. And that was the same, that was true for BlackBerry back in the day. That BlackBerry was a smart device that took the technologies of that third revolution and compounded upon it. Now look back at that time, or I could choose to use just a regular push brick phone, the old school, but how behind would I be in technology? How less efficient would I be at doing business if I still chose to use that little Motorola phone? I would be way behind. I would be much less efficient unless I had a team of people who I delegated those tasks to where I didn't have to worry about it, and that's a whole different story. But if there were things that I needed to do, there were certain technologies that I couldn't sit around and say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I had to break it and rebuild it and make it better. That is the same for you today. But let me warn you, because it does not stop there. Many experts have said we are, in some cases, the fourth revolution of industry, but we're also in the infancy of Industry 5.0. Which is now where not only do you just have computers and smart computers, but you have robots and humans working hand in hand. What? It's happening right now. Not to the level where you have to go to work and work with them, but there are some businesses that are already right now today implementing this idea of robots and humans working together in industry. Industry 5.0. It's not coming. It's here. Well, why is this an urgent call for entrepreneurs? Let me tell you, this advanced technology doesn't have to change the way you do business, but it's definitely going to change the way your customers do business with you. Why? Because in these industrial revolutions that we've talked about, guess what? The industry did not only change, or the way they produce goods and services and valuable products did not only change, but the customers that bought them changed. Culture changed. And because of that, the way these businesses did business had to change. This is why it's an urgent call for you, the entrepreneur, because you have an opportunity today, right now, to embrace the technology, not resist it like I would do with my cell phones. I mean, I would keep a cell phone for years. Listen, I had friends and people that worked at these various cell phone places, and they would talk about me and they'd say, you need to do this. That phone is 10 years old. That phone did that. I didn't care, because I was of the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. My phone still ring. I can still text. What's wrong with it? It's obsolete. And I didn't realize it until I was needed to do certain things. It's like, oh, this phone not compatible. I needed to download this. It was obsolete. If I had embraced the new technology beforehand, I wouldn't have been trying to play catch up. Because by the time I got the new technology, the new cell phone, everybody else was already up on it.
Oh, you ain't never heard of that app? Oh, you ain't never seen that app? You don't know how to download the app?
I ain't know what to do. That was the issue. So why is this an urgent call for you? Because you have the opportunity to get the new cell phone before everybody else. To figure out how and where and when you need to implement the new technology before your competitor. It's very vital and very important. And beyond that, you have the opportunity to grow as a business owner and entrepreneur and understand the climate of business and industry that you're contending with, that you're living in. Which is why it's an urgent call. Not just a suggestion, but an urgent call. Because whether you choose to implement it or not, everything around you will. And when that customer comes into your door and says,
oh, you don't take Apple Pay? Oh, you don't do Zelle? Oh, you don't take credit cards?
Their way of doing business has changed. And now you're playing catch up. And guess what? Sometimes you'll be able to sustain and play catch up. And other times you might just see that customer walk right out the door. Why? Because you are behind in technology. As we look at the history of industry, there are about 100 years between that first revolution and the second revolution and the third revolution. But then when it came to the time span between the third revolution and the fourth revolution, it was less than 50 years. Which means to me, if what the experts are saying is true, that means that that time span between Industry 4.0 and this now Industry 5.0 is less than 40 years. It's telling us that technology is advancing rapidly. And guess what? Whether you choose to live off the grid, you can choose not to, and guess what? It will still advance. Listen, there's an opportunity here for you to embrace. There's an opportunity here for you to reject. Whatever it is, it's your choice. But let me tell you this, I'd rather see you embrace it than see you be a wood or coal burning stove in a kitchen of air fryers. You don't want to be the only one that's obsolete. Yeah, you'll be a spectacle because people will be like,
oh my God, you still doing it that way? Oh my God.
And hey, some people might like it still. Listen, there are ways that you can embrace this technology and still stay true to who you are authentically. You don't have to change everything. It's about defining the goals that you have as a business and seeing how these technologies can support you. We need to understand, more importantly, how this will affect the people we do business with as entrepreneurs. And that's the conversation we want to have. I want you to join me back here, so please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, because we're going to continue the conversation. Because we're going to ask the question, what does this mean for the culture of consumers? We're going to talk about it. Meet me back here next week, same time, same place. This is Cornell Jermaine. I'll see you then. Take care.